Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Complete Sports Media's podcast. I'm your host, Darren Campbell, coming to you live from the Complete Media Network. And joining me, as always, on a Monday, our best friend, Jason Cameron. Hey, how are you? How are you, buddy?
I am doing good. I think I'm like everybody else, avoiding the heat as best I can. But even with me trying to do that, I'm still melting in my apartment. I cannot believe how hot it is right now.
Oh,
Unbelievable.
it's been crazy. Yeah, you just can't imagine people that have to go through this every summer. I don't know. I think we're setting records
Yes.
around the province because I think you said this earlier that you don't remember it ever getting this hot around here.
No, no, man. Like as long as I've lived here, which has been over some 20 years, I don't remember this happening. Usually June, you just don't have it feel like it's like peak August right now, which
Yeah,
is what it feels like, right?
yeah. Uh, do you have any helpful pointers, helpful hints for any of our viewers and listeners?
I don't know, stick your head in the freezer, and like leave it there for the day. That's about it, man.
Well, I've got some good ones. I hired someone to just keep fanning me, so they're just off to the side of me right now, and they're gonna switch sides during the podcast. Just keep fanning me. I put my underwear in the freezer and froze them for a couple hours, and I'm wearing them right now. I'm feeling great. That's a real key one. Put your underwear in the just wet them a little bit, put them in the freezer, and then put them on, and oh man, it's pretty nice.
Yeah, I think I'll do that with like all of my clothing for this week. Like I think I'll just be throwing a bunch of stuff into the freezer. That's a great idea.
I'm trying to set the world record for the longest amount of time without sleep, and I'm doing pretty good this week. How about you? Have you been sleeping much?
I think I'm right there with you. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I have not been sleeping that much. It is super hard to sleep in this oppressive heat. It's hard to get some shut eye.
Yeah, and you haven't been venturing out because it's so hot, so you've been in there just stifling.
Yeah, yeah. Because like even if I were to venture out, I'm like, oh, it's actually worse outside. This is great. This is so much better. I'm gonna go back inside then.
Yeah. During the World Cup a few years ago, I decided to just watch every game, get up first thing in the morning, watch. I usually went for the first early games, and that was typically before the bars opened. But because it was World Cup, they had opened the bars, so right away I'd have steak and eggs, and then I'd have a beer, and then I'd have a couple more beer, and it lasted all month. It was all month, and I barely slept that whole month, and I paid the price really, really badly. Euro Cup's on right now, and I'm getting up early every morning watching these games. I'm probably get a little bit more sleep than I got during that whole World Cup run, but this heat is contributing to me just not getting sleep, watching tons of games, just absorbing it, absorbing it. It's been fun. Have you watched any of the World Cup, Euro Cup here?
I've caught some highlights here and there, but no, I really haven't been able to. I really haven't been keeping tabs on the Euro Cups thus far.
It's been incredible. Two games today. Spain and Croatia was an incredible game. It was 3-1 Spain, looking like they had it. Croatia comes back and ties it up, goes into overtime and or extra time, and Spain ended up winning 5-3. Same scenario here. France and Switzerland, they're in extra time right now. France was up 3-1 late, and Switzerland scored two late goals to force extra time. So they're in the first half of the extra time, and it's the 3-all France and Spain. And France are the favorites to win the whole entire thing. They're the world defending champions, and yeah, it's looking crazy. I'm amazed that Switzerland came back to tie this, but we've got a hell of a game. Both games today have been amazing, amazing.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome that both games have been amazing and that you were able to be up to watch both of them because, well, you're not sleeping. So yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So it's been this tournament's been super fun to watch. Obviously, like tons of sports going on. The basketball has been also fun to watch. Two great conference final series, and favorites are maybe emerging. Last night's game, Atlanta was great for about 3.5 quarters, and then maybe Trae Young's sprained ankle sort of shifted the balance to Milwaukee. Milwaukee went on a 25-7 run to close out the game and win 113-102. What were your thoughts about that game?
I thought my thoughts were exactly like yours. Like as soon as Trae Young had that weird tweak of his ankle by stepping on the ref's foot, of all things, he stepped on the ref's foot, tweaked his ankle, and all of a sudden the momentum just immediately shifted after that. And what else contributed to that was the fact that Middleton was a dead-eye shooter down the stretch. He literally didn't miss going down the stretch. So
yeah, no, that was amazing that tied his career high, because that's the best I've ever seen him play. He was just finding spots, getting the ball and shooting it. You know, it was going through the hoop wherever he was. 38 points. Man, he was just on fire. He outscored Atlanta himself 20-17 in that fourth quarter and helped Milwaukee win. Because they won now that third game, do you think this series is theirs? Charles Barkley seems to think that it's going to be 4 straight now, but do you think Atlanta's still in this?
I think Atlanta still has a shot, but I'm very concerned about Trae's ankle now going forward. Like, how is that going to affect him? Because it clearly affected him near the end of that game. Clearly, he was hobbled. And then the fact that it seems to me like Atlanta's beginning to get like some mounting injuries. Like DeAndre Hunter hasn't even come back because he's injured, and Bogey's playing off a very bad knee right now. One of his knees is compromised. So these injuries are beginning to mount. And I think I've said this before. It seems like to make it to the finals for this particular year, it's whatever teams are going to be healthiest.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of been the war of attrition there. And the best ability is availability, as they say. And we've heard many times. A couple guys that I thought would step up a lot more this past game were Clint Capella, only 8 points, 11 rebounds, and John Collins, only 13 points, 8 rebounds. And Herter was so good early in these playoffs. He had a couple of phenomenal games, but he only put up 11 points in this one. We need more help for Trae Young. He can't do it all himself.
No, he absolutely can't do it all himself. But one guy that unexpectedly has actually been stepping up pretty good has been Gallinari. Gallinari had a solid game with 18 points and 4 rebounds. But again, like you said, those other guys need to do something. They need to help Trae. And especially right now, considering we don't know the severity of his injury, but those guys need to step up to help him.
Giannis has finally realized don't step out and shoot the 3 very much. He only had 2 attempts. He got 1 3 in that game, but his drives to the hoop, who can stop him? He's just amazing. The twirls, the moves, the length. He can jump and just be able to put it in almost from anywhere. Can they stop him?
Well, no, I don't think so, because he's actually proven it time and time again. When he's coming downhill or he gets it down in the block area like that, he's pretty much unguardable. Pretty much unguardable. And so every time he takes a 3, he's bailing out the defense of Atlanta. What he's figured out, thankfully, finally, constant pressure put on the Atlanta defense by him attacking at all times. Don't let your foot off the gas. Just keep coming after him, because then all of a sudden their big men will accumulate fouls, they'll be in foul trouble and all that sort of stuff. All the good things happen if he just stays aggressive, because Barkley had it right. That guy stays aggressive, there's nobody that can guard him.
Yeah. Why aren't you using the hack a Giannis approach, though? Why aren't you just getting guys off the bench, say, hey, I don't care if you get 6 fouls in 5 minutes, just hack the guy, don't allow him to run the hoop. If he gets to the free throw line, he's not making his free throws. So why aren't they employing the hack a Giannis almost the entire game?
it's a possibility, but I don't know if it would be fruitful enough for them to employ that strategy. Like, okay, so for instance, when the Hawks did that with Ben Simmons, oh no, you do that. The man's shooting 33%. Yeah, that's gonna
Yeah.
work. But Giannis has shown the capabilities or the abilities to actually shoot at a higher clip if he has to, if he needs to. Because I remember at one point in time, he must have hit, I think, 7 or 8 free throws in one of the playoff games. So he has the ability to do that. And at least he's shooting over 50%. So he's going to hit half of his free throws, at least. And that's a good thing.
Well, he was 6 for 13 in this past game from the line. I'm amazed that he only went to the line that many times after that many drives. I would definitely employ a bit better strategy and try to get a lot of the bigs off the bench and hack them, whack them, send them to the line. I'm laughing every time that he gets to the line and those Atlanta fans start doing that countdown. It's pretty funny to hear. They always get to about 12. They're counting pretty fast, but they get to about 12 by the time he shoots it. Do you think that's distracting him as well?
I think sometimes that can actually help Giannis. Like I remember clearly in the Nets series, they were counting, and it seemed like he was able to get their cadence, and it actually helped his form in his shot.
Wow.
Like which is kind of weird to say it like that, but it did help him. So I think, in certain points, in certain instances, yes, that does help him. But the thing that he's going to need to work on, like once this is over and he's in his off season, he's got to work on speeding that up. Like 10 seconds to shoot a free throw is more than enough time, man. It really is.
Drew Holiday had a bit of an off game, but he contributed 12 assists. I'm hoping that Trae Young learns a lot on distributing the basketball, realizing that they're going to double team, they're going to come after him, they're going to try to hurt him, they're going to try to get in his lanes. He needs to find the open man a lot more. His assist totals aren't good enough for a point guard that wants to take a team to a championship.
Yeah, because I believe in this game, well, yes, he had 35 points, but he only had 4 assists.
Yeah.
And that's not good enough. That it is absolutely not good enough. So he needs to be more effective in finding his open teammates and getting them the ball. Because yes, the offense flows through him. He's the facilitator, but then that means he actually has to get his teammates involved, get them the ball in the right spots.
Obviously Drew wasn't hitting his shots, but to get 12 assists, obviously, found the open man. Middleton was there so often, boom, catch and shoot. Giannis, down on the block, he was finding him. Bobby Portis also had a phenomenal game, really good contribution from him. Great to see a veteran get the minutes and get the ability to come in and play well.
Yeah, Portis with 15 points and 4 rebounds. He played well. He's like that spark that they get off the bench. He provides that much needed energy with the second unit, and he's been playing very, very well so far in this series.
Yeah. So switching over to the Western Conference, Game 5 goes today. Clippers and Suns. That last game was a defensive struggle. Phoenix winning 84-80. Big news tonight. Supposedly Zubac is a game time decision. He's banged up. I'm not sure what. They haven't released any details on why, but he's been really phenomenal for them. He didn't contribute a ton in the playoffs before now, but they've decided to utilize him quite a bit in this playoffs, and that'll be a big blow if he doesn't play.
No, that'll be tough because Zubac is a big body and he's able to contend with Ayton down low, and then that's kind of the reason why he's in there, and that would be tough for them to now find somebody else to contend with Ayton. Probably Cousins will have to come off the bench. Zubac can't play. So, but this game actually kind of reminded me of like a 90s NBA game. 84-80 was the last time you saw that.
That was nuts. I couldn't believe how low scoring it was. Seemed like just no team could score, especially in that fourth quarter. It took so long for them to get a shot off and score early. 15-14 in the fourth quarter. Just didn't feel like what we see offensive basketball these days.
No. They struggled to shoot and score the basketball, both teams. So it was basically like who can finally get those baskets down the stretch or outlast the other team. And fortunately enough, it was the Suns that managed to get it done. And also too, under the leadership of, again, Chris Paul coming back for his second game in the series after having going through the COVID protocols. And he looks great, by the way.
Yeah.
He looks fine. And he doesn't look to be compromised whatsoever after contracting COVID. He looks great.
I was quite concerned those first two games. Devin Booker seemed off. He didn't seem right. Chris Paul didn't seem right. I just felt like they were in trouble. I think that mask was bothering him a lot. And I was like, get it off. Just let him break it again. I should know. I've had it broken many times, as everybody could see. I've suffered from many broken noses in my life. And, you don't want to wear a mask. You don't want to have to, have that restricting you. Those first two games, he only scored 20 points, and he was really struggling, really, really struggling. This next game, he only got 25, but he was just much more in the mix and played a lot better.
Yes, he did. And, like obviously with the broken nose and the way that it happened, it was a complete accident. But now that you have this foreign thing on your face and you're not used to ever playing with something like that on your face, there's an adjustment period there. So I'm kind of curious to see if he comes out with the mask to start this game or if he plays maskless and just goes, forget it. I'm just going to go.
Yeah, he's already got a good-looking model girlfriend, Kendall Jenner. He doesn't have to worry. They'll just break it again. It sucks getting it broken again, but you just got to wait a week or two and then let him break it again and set it, and then you're fine. Don't be concerned. But he said he couldn't believe how many times he got hit in the mask. He's like, until you have a broken nose, you don't realize how often there is contact to your face when you're playing this game.
Yeah, and it is kind of shocking how much contact there is, especially when you got a super sensitive spot on your face because it's broken. I'm very curious to see whether he decides to go with the mask or not without the mask on this particular game coming up.
Yeah. So who do you got tonight? Are the Suns going to close it out and advance to the final, or are the Clippers going to extend this?
Personally, I think the Suns close it out. They've shown the ability already in their past series that in some of these closeout games, they close it out with authority, and I think they're going to close this game out. And I think one of the reasons why they're able to close this series out as quickly as they have is obviously with the Clippers without Kawhi Leonard, who most certainly he is not coming back for this series. I think that's pretty obvious now. Whatever the knee injury that he suffered is significant enough, he's not coming back.
Yeah, he was ruled out for sure for Game 5 today. Seeing him sit up in the suite with his kids and stuff, you feel like he's just definitely not part of the team anymore, and he's already sort of resigned himself to sitting out and just hoping that they can go farther and maybe his knee will recover. But it doesn't look good.
No, it doesn't look good at all. Especially like you said, with him being up there enjoying the game with his family. But that obviously he would love to be on the court, but that injury is not allowing him to join the team.
Yeah. Paul George had a miraculous Game 4 there, 23 points, 16 rebounds. 16 rebounds and 6 assists. He's doing, an amazing job. He got so much criticism last year and a lot of criticism over the last couple of seasons, but he's really stepping up, and he has an opportunity to extend this series and give him another chance.
Yes, he does have that opportunity, but I kind of feel like if the Clippers are going to be able to extend the series after today, he's going to have maybe one of those amazing performances. I'm not going to say KD-esque, but it's going to have to probably be pretty close if they want to extend this series.
Yeah. I don't see him leaving the floor tonight. If Ty Lue has his wish, he'll play all 48 minutes and, he'll have his guys out there. He's getting great contributions from Terrence Mann, Reggie Jackson, getting a lot of good, performances by other guys. But Paul George is, the biggest key. He did. I think he has to put up 40 and 10. Maybe a 40-point triple double to give him a victory tonight, I think.
I absolutely agree with you on that. Like this would have to be one of Paul George's signature playoff moments for them to continue on this path to try to get to the finals. I think that's literally the only way to win this game. He'd have to play like that.
Yeah, well, it sure looks like even if the Clippers win tonight, Phoenix up 3-1 in the series, it doesn't seem likely that the Clippers are going to win 3 straight. So it looks like Phoenix, and not sure yet, but Milwaukee's got the inside track now to make that final. Do you think the people in the NBA front office are kind of mad when it's Milwaukee, Phoenix, 2 small markets making the final?
Well, I think, like if they're looking at it purely from a money-making standpoint, yep. They're not too happy about that. But at the same time, it's nice to see some of these small markets get that kind of exposure too as well. Because maybe people aren't as familiar as we are with some of these star players. Like obviously people know Giannis, but not too many people know about Ayton or Booker. And now this is their chance to showcase their skills to a wider audience, and that's always a good thing.
I think it's a really good thing, but we're going to hear from a lot of people that it was terrible. They're going to say the lowest ratings ever, that type of thing. So, that sucks. I wish, they didn't throw that in people's faces and say, we only want, New York and LA or Chicago, big markets, because this is great for basketball. Usually at the beginning of a season, you can say, oh, this is going to be Brooklyn and the Lakers making it. And they go all the way, year after year. It was Cleveland, Golden State. Yeah, okay, boom. We just set them there. But to see these teams that, have been working really hard, building their team, starting to get a core, starting to get that one superstar and making it to the final, it's phenomenal for the league, I think.
I think it's absolutely it's imperative for the league, because you need these new superstars, this new generation of stars to start making their mark. This is the year that's actually started to happen. This is it. This is the year. Like with Trae Young averaging like almost 30 points in his first playoffs ever, that's freaking amazing, right? Like you have these new guys really stepping up, and I couldn't be happier for Giannis being in the position that he's in, because he's gotten a lot of flack over the last couple of years in the playoffs. And if he can just get past these Hawks and make it to the finals, all that disappears. Yeah. Now he's made it.
Yeah, when he was coming up to free agency, everybody suspected that he was going to leave there for, a team in a bigger market, more opportunity to win probably, easier chance to attract free agents. But he signed on there, said, no, this is my team. I'm sticking to them. And, now I'm sure he's very happy he's made that move, and they're obviously happy he did as well. I'm glad you brought up Trae Young too and his prolific playoff run. He's now second all time with the most 30-point games in a single postseason, age 22 or younger. He's tied with LeBron, 8 games each. LeBron did it in 05-06, and Trae's doing it this year. Amari Stoudemire is the only guy that's had more 30-point games in a single postseason at 11 games in 2004, 2005. And right behind LeBron and Trae is KD with 7, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar back in the 69-70 season with 7 games. So Trae Young, look at the company that he's on there on that list. It's phenomenal.
And he's the shortest guy on that list, which is actually even more incredible if you really think about that, his stature. I've just been super impressed with his game, his play, the way he's carried himself, and the fact that he is tough. And that guy, that dude is tough as nails, man. Tough.
Sure is. Oh, yeah. There was 2 hirings that I want you to comment on. 2 new head coaches in the ranks. Portland Trailblazers just hired Chauncey Billups. What do you think of the move?
Love it. I love it because Chauncey's definitely going to he's going to instill within the Trailblazers this thing that they've been missing, like obviously been missing: defense.
Yep.
He's going to bring a defensive mindset, because the one thing that he doesn't have to worry about is their offense. Their offense is clicking along. You have Damian Lillard, who is like, he's money when it comes to crunch time. It's like, all I got to do is give him the ball. We win. Okay, that's easy. That part is over with. But the defense side of the ball, that's absolutely has to improve. And he will improve upon that. And he will demand from his players to be defensively responsible. He will demand from his players a greater effort than what they've shown so far.
True. Yeah. Yeah, that's fantastic. A really smart move on the Blazers' part. And now Jason Kidd in Dallas. He's going to obviously mentor Luka Doncic and tell him what it takes to win a championship. Kidd won one in 2011 and had a really prolific career, one of the greatest point guards ever. Do you think this is a good move for Dallas?
I think it is. I think it is. Like, you're talking about a guy that's a Hall of Famer that's going to be coaching up a soon-to-be Hall of Famer. You know, so I think for Luka, that he couldn't be in a better situation with a guy that's his head coach and is going to be his mentor too as well, to help him get through those spots, those tough times. I think it's a really good hire. I think it's a very, very good hire.
Nice. We started off talking about this European Soccer Championship that's going on. There are also just completed the European Basketball Championship for women, and Serbia got the victory, beat France in the final. And I've got a little bit of highlights to share with everybody. Let's take a look at the huge win. Serbia's second title, European Championship. This will be fun to see. Okay, here we go.
Mismatch. They get it out. Brooks is the recipient at the end. A good job there by Serbia. Princes knew exactly where to go, right? Yeah.
Nice three-pointer here.
Three-point shot by Donovic at the buzzer.
Another nice three-pointer.
Oh, goodness me. Back-to-back three-pointers by Adamovic, and Coach Garnier has to call a timeout. Oh my goodness, it's getting difficult for France, people. Minute 30 left. Joanna's three-point shot is good.
France tries to come back with some big three-pointers, but just a little too far behind.
Three-point shot is good. And they're still alive. You need to foul now because you've already taken so much time off the shot clock. Bassage goes all the way, folks. And there's a reason why she might be MVP. That's it.
That's it.
It's game. Serbia are the winners of the 2021 FIBA Women's Eurobasket. And boy, did they deserve it. And there you have it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so that was fun. Yeah, congratulations to the Serbian team, and really excited for them. I got a note. I should make a note of that, and was able to share that. Thank you, Renata, for sending the link. I got to see that. Yeah, I love the European Basketball Championships on the men and women's side. I was there a couple of years ago and got to see phenomenal matches. Really cool. The support there is like a soccer match, but in a basketball stadium. Tons of chanting, waving flags. It's really exhilarating and super fun. I recommend it to anybody that hasn't seen a basketball game in Europe. Check out the European Championships. It's a can't miss event. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, it just has a different energy to it. Like the energy I can actually kind of relate it to. It's like going to a soccer match. Yep. But it's not a soccer match, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's basketball, but it has that same energy, and it's very cool to be a part.
Yeah, no, it's so amazing. I loved it, and I plan to catch many more over the years. So, yeah, that was fun.
That was great. That was fantastic.
Really, really good. Yeah. Okay, well, why don't we switch gears now? This game is going into penalty shootouts. Nobody scored in extra time. 2 15-minute halves scoreless. And now Switzerland and France are about to hit the penalty shot. So, yeah, we'll try to give you a quick update once this happens. Switzerland's shooting first. So, okay, great heavyweight battle at the top of this UFC card this past weekend. Cyril Gane, a very inexperienced guy. This is his second main event, but coming in only a couple years into the UFC. But man, is this guy tough and is he good? Still undefeated, 9-0, and a very dominant victory here.
Yeah, he took on a very tough opponent in Volkov, who's in the top 10. Like this was supposed to be the fight to propel him. Either he can get past this guy or he can't get past this guy. And I was super impressed with the pacing of the fight because he fought the fight at his pace. And for whatever reason, Volkov couldn't speed him up. He couldn't get him off his game plan. He couldn't actually literally do anything to him. Like it was the tactical brilliance of Gane when he's fighting Volkov, just to fight him at distance, use literally all his weapons, and somehow take away from Volkov the fact that he was very reluctant to throw his hands. He kicked. Yeah. He kicked a lot in that fight. He really didn't throw his hands because I think he was afraid of what was going to be firing back at him as soon as he did, because he knew that he was at a severe disadvantage when it came to speed. Severe.
Yeah, both of them used a very measured approach early, but it seemed like Volkov, continued that on through the fight. He was using his legs, and I think that's smart when a guy's quite a bit taller. He can keep a guy at far distance, but he just wasn't able to connect with enough punches or kicks to do anything to Gane to throw him off his game. Gane was just a far superior guy. And he landed 157 significant strikes, which is the tied for the second all-time in a heavyweight fight. So obviously he was accurate. He was able to get inside on Volkov, who was the much bigger guy. Much heavier, much taller, much bigger. He looked huge in that cage. But Gane's approach, great movement. And when he came in, he was able to land his shots and get out before he took any damage. It was a brilliant performance.
Very brilliant performance. And also too with Gane, I found that as the rounds went on, he actually increased the pressure on Volkov. Yeah. He actually was becoming more and more aggressive in his attacks. And even with that aggression, Volkov still was unable to find the strategy to get back. Try to get himself back into the fight. Yeah. And he just couldn't do it.
So I guess the biggest question now is, can he beat Ngannou?
I will say this. He has the capabilities. I believe he has the tools and the weapons, but here's the problem when you fight a man like that. One punch, one kick. Yeah. That's all it takes. One punch, one kick. So as dangerous as you are, if that guy lands one punch, one kick on you, lights out.
That's it. You're right. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So he would have to be sure that he made no mistakes. Because after that one mistake, because we already saw that with Volkov when he fought the Black Beast. Volkov had that fight. In the last 20 seconds, Derek Lewis said, I got one more good punch left in me. I guess that's all he needed. That's all he needed, man, was just that one good punch. And then that's what Ngannou has too. And then that's what Gane would have to be super aware and disciplined about. Because if he gives him any sort of daylight to hit him like that, then the fight's over.
It is, yeah. You're right, yeah. So far in these penalty kicks, everyone's scored. Nobody's missed, or no goalie has made any saves so far. So I think that's 3-2 for Switzerland so far. So, exciting game. You can see people biting their nails and holding their face and praying. It's tightly contested. Yeah, 3-2 Switzerland with France's third kick coming up. So, okay, heavyweights were off the very top, and the co-main event also had some heavyweights. And friend of the show, Tanner Boser, was able to get back in there only 3 weeks after his last performance in the octagon, and he was able to this time not allow the judges to get involved. He was able to get the big knockout victory, and now he was able to announce that he signed a 4-fight contract, able to get the win bonus, get the victory, and leave no doubters. Really great performance by him. I was very happy for him and all his fans of the fighter and of the show here.
Yeah, I was super happy, and I was super impressed with his performance. Once again, the one thing that I'm always amazed at is his movement, just how light on his feet he is for being such a big man. And he kept constant pressure on St. Preux. You know, like he was very effective with his jab and keeping his distance. The one thing I noticed about St. Preux, though, was maybe he was being a little too cautious, a little too patient. He wasn't throwing anything back. Like, no. and I was simply amazed at that. And then finally in the second round where he took him down, then that's where the controversy was, because of the way that Tanner posted his arm up against the cage. Yeah. Now they were saying that he grabbed the cage, but clearly you could see on the replay that was a closed fist. So I don't know actually how you grab the cage with a closed fist. Somebody will have to explain that to me. I guess I'm just not smart enough. But I thought it was just brilliant move on his part because he used the leverage to get up to his feet. And then once he got up to his feet, well, quickly after that, the show was over.
Yeah, sure was. Yeah. I don't know if you heard the news, but Ovens and his cornermen, his trainers have decided to protest this. They've went to the Nevada State Athletic Commission and have asked it to be deemed a no contest. And they say that because Jason Herzog, once he saw that arm approach up onto the cage, and from his vantage point, he thought possibly Tanner was grabbing the cage, that supposedly Herzog came and he put his hands on Ovens, and Ovens stopped for a second because he said when a referee does that, it's, stop, don't continue to fight. And he said that allowed Tanner to get onto his feet, change the fight, end up knocking him out. So we'll see where this goes, but I've watched the replay. I've got a little replay that I'm going to show here, but it's hard to see. It's hard to see much of what's going on. But what are your thoughts on hearing about this protest and trying to deem it a no contest?
Well, the thing is, like, once the call is made by the ref, whatever, in any of the fights, it is super hard to get a reversal. Like it's almost impossible. Like, so like the evidence would have to be like, it would have to be 100%. It'd have to be bulletproof for them to win. I don't think it is. And that's why I don't think they'll be reversing it. I think it's just going to stand.
Sure. Yeah, I agree. We don't see many reversals. The referee's the one, right in there. He's the one that, is witnessing what's going on. He's the closest to the action. They usually, side with the referee's call and the judges there. So Switzerland has knocked off the mighty France. Kylian Mbappe was stopped on the 5th shootout attempt. Switzerland scored all 5 of their attempts. Mbappe was in there for the 5th attempt, and the goaltender from Switzerland stopped it, and France has been eliminated. So huge victory for Switzerland, and a big surprise to the soccer world. It's incredible.
Yeah, that's a huge blow to France. That's a huge blow to France. Oh yeah.
Wow.
And you got to be happy for Switzerland. Little country Switzerland taking out a giant like that. That's got to feel good for those fans.
Very cool. Very awesome. Okay, well, let's share this. I'll try to. I wasn't able to find super close details, but let's take a look at some of the action from this fight here. I'm going to start showing it. I'm going to start showing it from the beginning.
Okay.
Okay. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I wish I had some better pictures. I wish I had a few more, shots of it closer. But his hand definitely was closed when he reached up. He just used a little bit of leverage, I think, but he just wanted to get it a little bit free. I didn't see Herzog put his hands actually on St. Preux. I saw him come in close, and I think people were yelling, maybe St. Preux's corner, hey, he's got to go back down. He grabbed the cage and stuff. DC was yelling that he grabbed the cage, but when they showed some later highlights, he was able to actually see that there wasn't a grab there.
Yeah, no. And I remember seeing those highlights. And the funny thing to me was DC was still kind of adamant that he grabbed the cage. And I'm looking at it going, how do you do that with a closed fist? I don't understand what you're talking about. Because the one thing that I believe you are absolutely allowed, you're allowed to use the cage as leverage. You just can't grab onto it, but you can do that. That's why they wall walk up onto the cage all the time. You can do that, right?
Yeah.
So and then also too with what they were saying with Herzog came in and touched him. I don't know. Maybe it was because of the angles of that particular of that footage. I couldn't see it. I actually, to be honest with you, I don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah. So, well, hopefully, it won't be reversed, and hopefully Tanner will, continue on with that victory, and his win bonus and everything. There's been very, very few fights overturned and called no contest. Sometimes for, when they catch them with drugs in their system or that kind of thing, there have been, but just from a technical standpoint, it's been really, really rare. So I don't think we're going to see a reversal, but super happy for Tanner. He said it saved his summer. He really wanted to get that ugly taste out of his mouth of the decision loss to Ilir Latifi. And a tough opponent in Oven St. Preux, a nice knockout win for him. I'm sure that's going to make him happy. He said he wants to get now down to some training. He didn't train at all for this fight because he was in quarantine, but be good to see him with a full training camp. Hopefully later on this summer, we can see him back in the cage again.
Well, I'll say this about Tanner. He likes to stay busy. So, we'll be seeing him in a couple of months for sure when he actually has a full training camp. I'm quite curious to see who they match him up with next because, OSP, he's a big name. That's a big name. So, I look forward to seeing him in there again, whoever he may be facing.
Sure, yeah. Okay, so now we go to a bantamweight fight between Hauni Barcelos against Timur Lucky Valiev, and Barcelos was the favorite. He had come in doing really well, moving up the ranks and being considered one of the top guys. Record of 16-1 coming into this one, but Valiev, the Dagestan guys. Man, they know how to grind. They know how to make these victories come to them, and it was an incredible performance by him.
Yeah, it was. It was because this was an incredible fight. Like it was back and forth. It was super close. I'm gonna be honest though. I thought Barcelos won it. I thought he did. It was a split decision, but I thought he did enough. But maybe I didn't give enough credit for Valiev in the third round when he actually came storming back. Because in the second round, Barcelos hurt him twice, put him down on the ground twice. I thought, honestly, that, this might be nearing the beginning of the end for Valiev. No, not even close. He came back stronger, it felt like, in that third round. I was very, very impressed. And I knew it was going to be tight. I knew it was going to be close. They fought each other in a phone booth there for like 3 rounds. Extremely entertaining fight. And those Dagestanis, man, those guys are they're bred tough. They got the work just to see anything through. It's amazing.
It is amazing, yeah. And 135, just so much power with both of those guys. I was blown away by how accurate and crisp punches Barcelos had in that round where he knocked him down twice. I thought, two knockdowns, you think maybe that's a 10-8, because they were flash knockdowns, but he did actually strike him hard enough to put him down. You think that the judges should be calling that a 10-8.
Yeah. And again, with the judging and the scoring sometimes, and yes, I realize it's subjective, but sometimes there's got to be some consistency there, Yeah. There has to be some consistency, and sometimes you'll see it in fights like this where it's just not there. It's not there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That was the first loss by Barcelos. When it went to the third round, he was 7-0 going in there. He was on a four-fight win streak. Valiev has now won 9 fights in a row, and he won the majority decision. It was not a split decision because it was 28-28, and it was 29-28 on the 2 side. So it was majority decision. And he when Valiev stepped in there, he had a lot to say, and one of the things that he said is, who the hell has ever come into the UFC and had 3 fights in 3 different weight classes and won all 3? I want somebody huge now. Give me one of the top names. I'm the best guy in this division.
Well, nice call out. Nice call out, because you know what? He's absolutely right. He does deserve that now. So now the question is, does he get a top 15 guy? Does he get a top 10 guy?
Yeah.
I think he might just get a top 10 guy.
When he left Russia, he decided to go into Frankie Edgar's camp and fight out of New Jersey there. And he mentioned Frankie Edgar, hey, if you've got a guy like that who had a career like he's had, hey, the sky's the limit for us. I'm going to win a title. This is the greatest camp ever, especially with having Frankie there. And Frankie did, more with his career than anybody would have ever suspected. And it's nice to hear the call out for Frankie.
Yeah, I know. And it's out of a deep respect from Valiev to call out a person like that, because he obviously very, very much respects Frankie. And if that fight can happen, well, that's going to be a doozy. That'd be a great fight.
Yeah. There was a tough no contest decision on this featherweight battle between Andre Touchy-Feely and Daniel Pineda. Really too bad that it had to end in an eye poke that stopped the fight. Feely was beating up Pineda badly. It was one of the best performances I've ever seen from Andre, and it was really must have crushed him that he ended up getting a no contest out of this one.
Yeah, because you could feel it. Once it got to that second round, I think Feely was going to be taking him out. Like it was right there. And unfortunately, the eye poke happened. And I give all the credit to Pineda. Wanted to continue, wanted to fight, but he couldn't do the finger thing. He had no idea what was going on there. So the doctor did the right thing, because if you can't tell me how many fingers I'm holding up, then you can't fight.
Yeah, so, I think he was wrong with what he said. He's whatever the referee held up, he said it wrong. He looked like he couldn't even open that eye. He was even in the post-fight interview, he was saying, oh yeah, I'm fine. I would have been able to continue. But he's like, but you're not opening your eye. So how is that possible? So yeah, it was a really nasty eye poke. And we've had way too many of these this past year, but really tough way for this one to end, because man, Feely was better than ever, and this was a hell of a good battle. I was really excited to see these guys fight, and it was Feely's birthday the day before, so he really was hoping to celebrate a big win, but no, the victory was just ripped right from his hands, and that was it. Maybe they'll have to fight again to give it another go.
I hope they do, because the one thing that obviously Feely, I felt, was going to win this fight, but you never know in a fight, because he was actually being very much affected by Pineda's calf kicks. And so if he keeps doing that too as well, you never know. So I do hope that they run it back, because I'd love to see these guys fight again.
Sure, of course, yeah. Okay, you want to talk a little bit about the welterweight fight between Tim Means and Nicholas Dalby? Means looked really great. He was able to get Dalby in a ton of trouble and take the decision victory in that one.
Yeah, and Means is he's just that veteran savvy. Like he knows exactly what he needs to do when he needs to do it. Dalby was coming back on him hard in the third round, but then Means managed to get close to him, start neutralizing and stifling his offense, and coast his way to a win. But that's his fight IQ and his intelligence really showing up in that fight, knowing what to do and when to do it to ensure that he secured that win. And so I was really impressed with Means, very impressed.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, good call. Okay, the fight that started off the main card was the fight between Renato Moicano against Jai Herbert, and Moicano was phenomenal. Got his personal bests in takedowns and was able to end up securing the submission right near the end of the second round. Great performance by him.
Yeah, he made actually, you know what Moicano did, and he was saying before that he was falling maybe a little bit too much in with his striking and his boxing. So for this particular fight, he said, I'm just going to make it easier for myself. I'm a superior grappler. I'm just going to grapple him. And that's what he did. And Herbert really had no answers for his grappling. He had nothing for him. And eventually in the second, when he did the ground and pound, managed to take his back, rear naked choke, that was all she wrote.
That was it. Yeah. Boom. Done. Yeah. Dalby's a tough customer. This is his second time back in the UFC. And lately he's been really one of the top guys and having great performances. But Moicano was much superior on the ground and proved it and got the rear naked choke done. Yeah. So, okay, the feature fight in the prelims was the light heavyweight battle between Kennedy Nzechukwu against Danilo Marquez. Marquez was lighting up Kennedy early, really was beating up on the African Savage, but and had the backpack kind of position on him for that whole entire first round. But Kennedy came back and got a massive KO win. What did you think of this fight? This was fun. This was a fun fight.
It was a great fight. But I thought tactically, Marquez made the mistake when he decided to backpack him for the whole first round. I think he burned himself out. I think he burned out his legs. And then it started to really show in the third round, where in Kennedy's corner is just like, dude, this is it. This is now. This is where you got to put him away. And then Kennedy was just like, yeah, I think I can do this. I have the utter belief in myself. And the fact that I was really cheering for this guy to win. As I always cheer for a man that is doing something exceptional, which is what he was doing with his mom and taking care of her with that severe ailment that she has, which is ALS. I was definitely cheering for the man. And then and I've said this before and I'll say it again, once you actually have something more pushing you, then that's something that's pushing you you'll be able to overcome a lot of things that would seem insurmountable. Because it didn't look like he would be able to win that fight, but he needed a knockout win in the third, and he got it. He got it, man. And I couldn't have been happier.
Yeah, it was great to see him being able to stop the takedowns, and then his strikes were just super accurate. We're able to just light him up and put him down. I'm glad you mentioned ALS. We had a guest on last week who suffers from ALS. He has been trying to do a ton of fundraising. We helped get his message out and contributed to his cause. And ALS is such a tough affliction. June is ALS Awareness Month, and they've had some really big events. Major League Baseball had Lou Gehrig Day on June the 2nd. June the 20th, there was an ALS walk, and lots of money was contributed and donated and fundraised. And I applaud Kennedy for what he's doing to help his mother through this. It's a terrible affliction, and we're hoping that a lot of things can be done. My grandmother actually contracted it, and it led to her passing, and so it's near and dear to my heart. And it's tough that him and his family are having to go through it, but hopefully this win helps out a lot for them and helps out his mother too.
Yeah, and I'm sure it will. Like the win and the monetary, the funds will obviously help in that respect in taking care of his mother, and it's just an admirable thing for him to do as a son. That's what you should be doing.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So, okay, we got to kind of fly through the rest of these, but do you want? Is there some fights that you really definitely would love to mention on this regular rest of this prelim card?
I just say, like, for the one that came before that one, the Rakhmonov-Cazares fight. I love Rakhmonov. Just looked fantastic. He looked really, really good, and his ground and pound was vicious. Vicious, my friend.
Yeah.
My goodness, like some of those punches where you hear that sickening, as Michael Bisping likes to say, that sickening thud against the mat, that sickening thud. He must have did that for Cazares a number of times. And then for him to get that rear naked choke to sink it in the second too, after that vicious ground and pound, I'm super impressed with Rakhmonov. Super impressed with his performance.
Yeah, that was an amazing performance. He's 14-0, just a up and comer, rising up the ranks, and I can see him moving into the top 15 ranked opponents very soon. He looked tough as nails. Who else comes to mind for me? Huge knockout by Jeremiah Wells over Warley Alves. Nice quick KO in the early part of the second round. The light heavyweight battle between Marcin Prachnio and Ike Hurricane Villanueva. Prachnio, very rarely do you see body blows end fights, but he was able to end this one on a body blow that Villanueva was not able to get back up from. He was in a world of pain.
Yeah, and from a leg kick to the body, and also too, Villanueva was doing great before that leg kick. He was actually, in my humble opinion, winning that fight. His hands looked utterly fantastic. But Prachnio knew that, okay, so the man can take a lot of hits to the head, but the body looks soft. And he even said that in the post. The body looks soft, so I'm just going to attack the body. And it was very astute, accurate, a conclusion for him. And then that's what got him the win. Great win by Prachnio.
Very great win. Justin James, he came in really highly touted prospect and got a huge victory right off the bat, but I think he was in over his head with Charles Rosa. The light heavyweight battle to start the whole proceedings was a really great battle. Yancy Medeiros and the Bosnian bomber Demir Hadjovic. A big victory there. Ended up getting a decision win. Man, I enjoyed this. This was a fun fight to start it off. Yancy is a Hawaiian warrior, and this was a really good battle to kick off the proceedings.
Yes, it was a very fantastic fight for it to get the blood running, I guess, for this beginning fight, for this first fight out. But Hadzovic, I thought, controlled the fight throughout the course of this one. His combinations were excellent. He kept pushing forward, and then whatever Yancy would throw back, he would get it back immediately. He would never literally get him. He never let him off the hook with whatever Yancy was throwing back. So I was super impressed with Hadzovic.
Yeah, me as well. Yeah, he sure was great. So that was a hell of a good card as always. Tons of great battles on that card. So we've got a week off, and I think there's a week off. Yeah, there is a week off between these ones. The next one's UFC 264. Dustin Poirier, Conor McGregor 3. McGregor beat Poirier years ago and was a dominant fighter for quite a period of time, but Poirier ended up knocking out McGregor in their last battle. They're turning it around fairly quickly and getting this third one in. Do you think Conor could turn the tables on this last performance and win, or is Poirier going to show that he's progressed to be the most dominant guy in that division outside the champ?
I think Poirier puts a stamp on it. Again, I believe that because I've always felt that after Conor made his ridiculous money with Floyd Mayweather, there was something a little bit missing now.
Just changed, yeah.
Like that want, that drive, that fire. I've always felt that.
Yeah.
Only he knows for sure, but I've always felt that was the situation at hand. Now, I'm not saying that Conor can't win this fight. Of course he can win this fight. He's got the power to do it. I just don't know if he has the same will to back up that power to do it.
Sure.
You know? So I think Poirier will win, but it's not going to be easy because he's still fighting Conor McGregor. That guy can crack.
Yeah. Yeah, he sure can. And I think Poirier's going to be the favorite going in. I think Poirier probably wins, but to count out Conor McGregor is a foolish move. I've thought many times going into fights, Conor won't be able to take this one, and he has. So, but yeah, it's going to be highly anticipated. There's going to be a lot of bad blood, probably some shenanigans going on in the press conferences and the weigh-in and all that kind of stuff. Lots of attention. Probably one of the biggest pay-per-views we're ever going to see because people love watching Conor McGregor. So something to really look forward to. The co-main event will be fun. Gilbert Burns against Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. I don't know. Burns looked great on his route up to the championship fight, but didn't look good in that fight. But Thompson also, has had sort of hit and misses recently, but I think they're both going to be on the top of their game. It should be a great battle.
It's going to be a great battle, but it's going to be very tactical. I think it's going to be extremely tactical because the one thing about Stephen Thompson and about his fighting style, he actually frustrates you because you're like, I can't find him to hit it.
Yeah.
And it is super frustrating for the opponent. And so what Gilbert Burns is going to have to remind himself is to be patient and to not fall into Wonderboy's traps because he's going to set a bunch of traps for him as he's fighting. So it's going to be a very high IQ fight. That's what I believe. And either one of these guys could win this fight. It's going to be a good one. I'm not picking a winner.
No. Okay, there's a heavyweight battle between two big boys, Tai Tuivasa and Greg Hardy. Right before that one, great women's battle in women's bantamweight division between Irene Aldana and Yana Kunitskaya. Sugar Sean O'Malley returns against Luis Smolka. That will be a nice way to start off the main card. And then we've got Carlos Condit, the natural-born killer. Will be always fun to see. He's fighting Max Griffin. We've got Michel Pereira coming back. You and I witnessed our boy beat him here in Vancouver, and that'll be a good fight against Nico Price. Kevin Lee fights Sean Bradley, and I can't believe I forgot, but Kevin Lee is now sporting the most craziest back head tattoo that you've ever seen. He decided to put a helmet tattoo on the back of his head. I was going to share it with everybody, but I forgot. Man, it looks brutal, painful, super brutal, crazy helmet looking thing on the back of his head. And I'm not sure exactly why. I think he said something like, this ensures that I'll never get a job ever again. I will be a fighter, and it proves that I'm a warrior. So yeah, I guess you'll be able to see it online if you want to check it out now, or just wait for 2 weeks for this fight.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, you're a warrior. No, we get that part, but you also do know you can get nice tattoos. You know? Yeah, you get like really nice stuff. Like you just don't have to get whatever that is. Like even as you were explaining that, I was trying to picture it in my head. I still don't know what that thing looks like.
Oh man, it's insane. Yeah, it's insane. I can't even believe what it looks like. It's crazy. Yeah, he's got a lot of tattoos, but it looks just painful and crazy. I don't know. I don't know if it's done. I don't know if that's how it's supposed to be, but it looks pretty wild. That's for sure. Also on the prelim card, we've got Trevin Giles fighting. He's coming back. And then we've got a huge early prelim card too. We've got Jennifer Maia against Jessica Evil Eye. We've got Ryan Hall fighting Brad Tavares. We've got a few the Dagestani Russian fighters. Man, this is a massively stacked card next pay-per-view, and I guess about a week and a half coming. Not this Saturday, but next one.
Yeah, it's a great card, great fights, and it's going to be extremely entertaining. I think a lot of people obviously will be putting down their hard-earned cash because everybody likes to see Conor McGregor fight. Because if the one thing about that dude is you're guaranteed that you're going to be entertained one way or another. If he wins or he loses, you're still going to be entertained.
Yeah. Also, there's a funny online story about Michael Bisping in New Orleans with his family, and he said some guy approached him and all of a sudden decided he was going to try to engage Mike in a fight, and he punched Bisping in the face, and Bisping said he just laughed. He just said, "Is that all you got? Come on." He said it was like being bit by a mosquito. It was just such a sad punch. He said he couldn't even believe it. He said, "I feel like I've matured a lot because in my younger days, I would have beat the hell out of him, but I decided to just laugh at him and walk away." It's a pretty funny story. He shows a picture of the guy and all the funny shenanigans around it. It's pretty humorous to read.
Well, first off, what is wrong with you? You're just going to go to a UFC fighter and you're
Hall of
punch
Famer.
him. Yeah, Hall of Famer who's with his family, and you're gonna punch him in the face. Oh man, that's like you don't like living in this world anymore. I guess this is it. This is it for you. All right.
Amazing.
And like the mindset, the mentality for anybody to do that. Are you out of your mind? Are you
Crazy?
And you take crazy pills for a living. That's cool. That's good for you. Good for you.
Yeah. Pretty wild. Okay. I really wish I would have had the video for Kevin Lee. You got to see this thing. It's insane. Before we go, I want to mention some boxing news. Muhammad Ali's grandson, his name is Nico Ali Walsh. He just signed a deal with Bob Arum's Top Rank Boxing, and he will have his first pro fight August 14th. Nico is the son of Muhammad's daughter Rashida, and Bob Arum is now 89 years old. He promoted Muhammad Ali's first fight in 1966 and promoted 27 of his fights altogether, including the Thrilla in Manila against Joe Frazier and the trilogy fight against Ken Norton at Yankee Stadium, New York. Still at it at 89 years old, and really cool to see Muhammad Ali's grandson getting an opportunity to do the same career, and this is cool. This was really fun news over the weekend to see.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome to see. It's awesome for us to be old enough now to see like the lineage of these guys from the past to the future, and then see like now their grandkids step into the boxing ring and try to be pros and stuff like that. I hope the kid does well. I hope he lives up somewhat to the family reputation. It's going to be kind of tough because it's Muhammad Ali after all. But I'm sure he's going to do great, and he has to be excited, super excited about now going forth on this journey to become a pro.
Also on Crave, I think it originally showed on HBO. They've got a new documentary. It just was released. It's 4 parts, and it's called The Kings, and it's about the 4 fighters that all rose to prominence after Muhammad Ali's career started fading out. We started seeing 4 fighters rise to prominence and all start fighting each other: Sugar Ray Leonard, Tommy Hearns, Marvin Hagler, and Roberto Duran. And it's a documentary about all of their lives and how they all started intersecting with each other. I watched last night, and it is an amazing documentary. I can't say enough good things about it. Great to see so much of the old footage. Some of these fights that they had were some of the greatest fights of all time. And it's a can't miss. Just find it online, watch it. It is amazing, incredible performance.
Well, as you've just said it, now I'm going to watch it. I'm definitely watching that at some point in time this week because, well, it's not like I'm going outside. So yes, that's going to be a thing.
Nice. Yeah, the heat wave continues. I'm glad we could get away from it a little bit. That Sherpa has been fanning me, and I got to go get my next pair of underwear out of the freezer here and slip them on. Hope you can stop from melting, buddy. And do you have fans? Do you have some AC? Do you have something keeping you alive?
I have fans, like a lot of them.
Okay.
Got a lot of fans, man. I got a
Yeah.
lot.
Well, yeah, take care, man. 2 more days. I think we're going to be able to survive it, but it's been brutal. Yeah, I don't know how people can do this when it's this way 3, 4, 5, 6 months of the year in different climates around the world. We're only 2, 3 days into this, and it's been brutal.
No, it has been brutal. It has been very, very brutal. Like, so for all those people that are like, live in Vegas and stuff like that, man, you can keep that. That's all you can keep that. You can just keep all of that. I am super happy and glad that we only got to do 2 more days of this, because this is hard.
Yeah, I'm not sure how we're going to get some sleep, but I guess we can go a couple more days without it and then catch up through the week. But we've got we got a week off from the UFC, but I think the conference finals will be over in both cases, and we'll be able to talk about the finals when we meet together next Monday.
Yeah, and I look forward to that. I think we're both in the same mindset. I believe the finals will probably be the Suns and Bucks.
Yeah,
I think that's going to be a thing, and if that is, it's going to be a first, because like now you'll have a team. The Bucks, last time they won a championship was 1971, and I believe the Suns have never won one. And so, it's just nice to see 2 new teams rise to prominence and not have the same old names in the finals that we've been used to for a very, 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 very long period of time. So, I'm excited.
Cool. Yeah, me too, man. Yeah, good point. I'm glad that we're seeing something new in the NBA. I think it's great to see new blood, and Devin Booker, he's been overlooked for years out there. It's nice that they finally got a really good draft pick, getting Ayton in there. He's been stepping up and just playing phenomenal. Chris Paul coming there. Once Chris left the Clippers, everybody said, oh, man, he's overpaid. Where is he ever going to play where he's going to be able to fit in? He played great in OKC, and then he comes over to Phoenix and even, one-ups himself. Takes a team to the final. Looks like first time he's ever in the final, and I would be surprised if he doesn't get lots of MVP consideration for being able to take this team to the promised land and place where they never ever were expected to be.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you consider where they were the year before at the bottom of the league to where they are now, like the change has been like astronomical in proportions, and I couldn't be happier for him. Like him always being so close and just not getting there because of maybe an injury or this and that. And it's not like he didn't actually have an injury. He did. Yeah. He suffered that, but he was able to bounce back from that, and now he's almost there. He's right at the cusp.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, cool. Okay, man. Well, turn those fans up to 10 and survive through this heat wave. If you need anything, let me know. I'll send my Sherpa over for you. And I guess we'll talk through the week, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, you got it. We will talk through the week. Enjoy your time. Try not to melt in your apartment.
Okay, buddy. All right. Cheers. Okay. Bye for now.
Bye for now.
Okay. Another fantastic great podcast and a lot of fun to have. Let's mention our partners and sponsors before we go. Let's talk about Anchor, who's been a fantastic partner and sponsor for Complete Sports Media right from the beginning. They've been great at posting on multiple podcast platforms. Go to anchor.fm. They call themselves the easiest place to make a podcast. So if you want to do what Jason and I are doing here, that's the place to go. Verbero, the hockey equipment and apparel company, industry leader in technology, performance, and value. And the V350 stick is a can't miss stick for any player in your family.
Pampas and Possibilities, they design and sell dried florals, do floral arrangements and installations. And Forever Living, the aloe vera company, they grow and manufacture aloe vera-based products for health and beauty. And you just have to click on these Learn More tabs, and you're able to go to through our website, and you're able to purchase products at reduced rates. Really, great way to try some of these products out. Phenomenal partners and sponsors for us. So thanks for tuning in as always. I hope you're out there not melting and surviving through this crazy heat wave. I heard it's pretty bad everywhere. Surprising we're facing this so early in the summer. Hopefully this is one of the one and onlys. It's nice when it's hot. It's nice when it's beautiful. But when it gets to this kind of temperature, it's not very good for anybody. So come on, Mother Nature, cooperate. Just go down a little bit in temperature, please. And everybody put your underwear in the freezer and keep cool. So, okay, love you lots. Take care. Thanks to everybody that always is faithful listeners and viewers, and everybody that helps contribute to this. Appreciate it as always. And take care of yourself. Bye for now.